everybody.
Hi!
It's Kim and Jen from Fleece and Harmony in Belfast, PEI, Prince Edward Island, in our knitting podcast. And farm and knitting Christmas balls and who knows what else.
Yeah.
Weather report. We got it all.
We're a little, it's been a little busy, so we're a little disheveled.
Yeah.
Probably don't look it, though.
Yeah, that's always the way. Like, if you could see what goes on in the minutes before this happens, then you would be, I don't know, maybe not surprised.
I'm just happy the dog looks like she's going to stay put for at least 45 minutes.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. Like, there's lots of projects going on, and we have a lot of stuff to do. But first, I have to talk about the decor.
Oh.
So I've been watching Sit and Knit for a bit with Arna and Carlos every day. It's been delightful. They're so organized. They have their lovely home decorated with a real Christmas tree, and there's candles, and sometimes there's a fire in the big stone fireplace that you can see in the background, and here's us.
This is not our reality.
No. They have their lovely sweaters on.
Oh my goodness.
And they're knitting their balls.
Well, they've been at it a lot longer than we have.
Yeah. So this is our attempt at, this is our fake Christmas tree with the lights. And
it's a little sparse looking. It's from the Charlie Brown fake Christmas tree collection.
Yes.
Exclusive to Walmart.
Yeah. When we do have 26 acres of woods with lots of spruce in it, we could have a real Christmas tree, but, you know.
They don't grow like you think they grow. People say that all the time. You just go up to your woodlot and pick a Christmas tree. Have you seen the trees up there?
Yeah.
And like tree lot owners would tell you,
it's a lot of work.
There's a lot more to it than that. They prune those babies like they're prize orchids.
Yeah.
It's not like you just grow them in the lot and hope for the best.
But to be honest, I'm not really that fussy about a well-manicured tree. Just I like a real tree, but it just hasn't happened. So even if it looks a little bit,
and Ken hauled it over from the shop.
So this is actually in our shop because I've been knitting my Christmas balls, which more about that later. And we have a what could be, I guess, a beautiful Victorian home. Yeah, but it's not happening. It could be.
But when we can afford a professional decorator, you'll be the first to know.
So anyway, that's it. So we're going to tell you what we're wearing later. Because we won't bother right now.
Yeah, no. We have lots going on. That's one thing.
Yeah, there's lots going on.
Lots of knitting content, yarn stuff happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Not sure how. We've had time, but...
All right, so we're going to start with a farm update like we normally do. Which often includes a weather update. So literally, it's been like we've been living in a cave for more than 2 weeks. So the last time we sat down...
3.
Is it? It's been raining...
And gloomy.
And
damp.
Yeah, all of those things every day. The only thing is that it's not freezing yet, so we still have running water in the barn and everything, so we're not carrying water like we normally do at this time of year, but it's just been gray, whatever. And the poor people at Rowan are waiting for us to take a picture of our shop, and in order to do that, we need a bright sunny day because we have windows all around. And there just hasn't been one, and I think they don't. I think
they don't believe us. But being that they're in the UK, they should understand long stretches of gray weather.
Yeah. So, and we talked to we have a photographer that's going to take like proper pictures of it, and we said, well, should we set up the lights and everything? And she said, no, it's not the same. Like it really, you need a sunny day.
Well, she said it wasn't flattering, and we don't need that.
Yeah. Well, that's that's the main thing.
That's not what we need.
Yeah, flattering for the yarn, of course.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Nothing to do with us.
Right.
All right.
We don't like having our photos taken at the best of time when you're given the preemptive condition that it won't be flattering. That's not
you're already
on
the wrong foot. Yes. So anyway, and we tend to trust her because she's the one that told us about the
bums out,
chins out,
bums
stance
out,
about,
out
which has
thing.
made a world of difference in all of our photography. So not the most photogenic people in the world by times. Anyway.
No.
So we're going to update about our little patient from last time.
His flock is growing. Despite not being
okay.
Now there's 3 of them in there. Anyone we feel sorry for gets thrown in as a buddy.
Yeah. So he has his little nurse buddy, and then her brother is in there now too. So
I did take a little video of them.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because he was finally well enough to let out in the yard.
Yes. So they've been, and honestly, it's been so wet and muddy and just disastrous. He could have gone out a long time ago, a week ago at least, because he's all healed up and everything, but it's just not nice.
Well, it's so muddy too. There's nothing wrong with his feet, but just give the kid a break. Whatever.
Had a hard time.
Anyway, we'll just show a little video of them toddling around in their thing. They're full of complaints.
Yes. They're getting accustomed to the room service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to be fed first, and they're whining because they can't go out with the others, and they're just
sort of. So we talked about this before, about the fact that we didn't officially wean the lambs because they're not drinking anymore from their mothers.
I see, that's the problem.
Yeah, so he actually, even though they're not getting fed anymore by their mothers, I think they still have a bonding thing. So the first 2 nights, it was just like, because we can, Ken and I can hear from where our part of the house is, we can hear the sheep flock through the night, so we know everything that's going on.
That's not my part of the house.
That we know what's going on out there at all times. So we heard them. It was just like you were weaning them when they were young. So it's not about the food. It's really about their little family. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, they even miss friends when they're adults. Yes. I mean, if they don't have their buddy with them,
And the mother was calling to first, it was just the little girl that was in there, but it was the boy that was really the one that started squawking. The little girl one is kind of the ewe lamb is kind of independent, but the other little guy he wanted his mama.
This is the one that got added.
Yes,
not the original.
The added one after. Everything was quiet when it was just the original 2.
Now there's 3 of them, and now it's another group. So when you're in farming with livestock, the number of groups is a big deal, because there's a number of different locations that you have to drop stuff off at and whatever, and it's like, oh my Lord.
But the truth is, they could go out any time.
Yeah.
So we'll
kick them out maybe once the ground dries up a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're covered in wool, but it just looks so cold and damp out there for anyone that sounds even mildly pathetic.
Yeah,
so you feel bad putting them out with the regular population.
Right. And normally this, with weather like we've had, we would have the barn door closed and they would be outside all the time. But honestly, it's so wet and the ground is so saturated with water that we're leaving the barn door open so that they can go in just to make sure that their feet stay relatively dry and everything, because we don't need problems with wet feet and stuff like that. So it's, it's warm-ish. So it's unseasonably warm, but not really that pleasant, and very, very gray.
So muddy.
Yeah. So now it's mud season. We didn't have mud season in the spring.
We were excited. We skipped it. Now we're getting double the fall mud season.
Exactly.
But we're not complaining because it's mild, and not frozen water is something to be thankful for.
Yes, it is, and everybody's. So
I suppose if it were to stay gray like this till March, but the water didn't freeze, we might actually be willing to make that trade-off.
Yeah. Maybe.
That's everybody who lives in British Columbia.
Yeah. So I'm the one that, because we segregate them into another part in another field when we feed them, and where they create, they always walk in the same place. Like, even if they have a whole big open field, they'll make a path and then they'll stick to that path. It's really kind of funny. So, unfortunately, where they're walking back and forth from the other field to where their feeders are that we're feeding in the morning, they've got that all turned up. I'm the one that walks over there to open the gate for them to come back for their breakfast.
But you could walk on another path.
But the whole thing is like...
you can go off the path onto the grass.
Yeah, but now they've got the whole thing turned up at the back. It's really something. Okay. Anyway.
They're destroying our pasture. All right, whatever. Anyway, we're happy that they're doing well, and those little 2 that are in segregation with the patient have definitely put on a substantial amount of weight.
Yes, because I'm feeding them.
Competition, and they're getting all kinds of extra treats and snuggles and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they're kind of getting extra treats.
Perfect.
With molasses on.
Right.
Yeah.
They won't want to go back. Then they'll be crying from the other side.
Yeah.
Where's my molasses?
Yeah. Comfort food.
Good to know who's in charge around here.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get to whips because I have 3.
Okay. Do you want to go
and
first?
I'm super excited about it. And everybody's like, how could she have 3? You're supposed to be finishing Flatrock. And what about Teardale? And
yeah, where is the Flatrock?
It's right here.
Oh, okay.
So
part of Flatrock.
Well, I didn't bring the whole thing down. Oh. So I've started the sleeve.
Okay.
And what a sleeve it's going to be. Mm-hmm. This lovely lace. Now there are little... If I had my glasses on, I could tell you which was the right and the wrong side. But there are actually little cables running in between this lace motif.
Yeah,
if you call it a motif when it's lace. I don't lace pattern, stitch pattern. And this is way small. Like, I mean...
oh, the knitting is small.
This is teeny tiny.
It's going to fit you.
Yeah, well, it will fit me. But I mean, my eyes trying to do this thing. And then it's got... a slip pearl, which is one of the things I like least in the world. And I remembered when I picked this back up, because I had the ribbing of this one sleeve done. And I had split the yarn, broken the yarn and thrown it somewhere, a year ago or whatever. And it turns out there was a number of reasons that I cast this aside when all hell broke loose in March. Mm-hmm. And then I had forgotten that one of those reasons was the slip pearl.
Oh, okay.
So that's why the sleeve got ditched.
Why would you find that hard?
Because I don't do it that often, and I always have to look it up. So I had to look it up, but I now know how to do it.
Oh, okay.
I finally learned it. I'm like a funny, stubborn little knitter. Like, I don't like don't give me something new. Why can't I just knit 2 together on the other side or whatever it is? Why do I have to slip pearl? Why do I have to purl anything in a lace pattern? Anyway, why can't this be knitting around? There's so many questions. But I got over it.
Good.
Yeah, I got over it, and then there was a CDD, and I was like, what is this now?
Oh.
But now I know how to do that,
Such
too.
a double decrease.
Yeah, although I may have forgotten how to do that now. Because I put this down for a bit. But I feel like now the slip pearl is solidly in my repertoire.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you, Jennifer Beale.
Yeah.
I've cursed the slip pearl almost as much as I've cursed the long tail cast on.
You're still cursing the long tail.
Yeah, I know. More on that later.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's Flatrock, and I've had to drop Flatrock for a little bit of seasonal knitting.
Okay.
And honestly, it's going to take me a while to get these sleeves done.
I honestly didn't even really realize that. Oh, it's very lacy lace.
Yeah. It's beautiful, no question.
Nice.
But slow going.
Yeah, it's tiny.
Slow going with that. Okay. So that's Flatrock. I'm still working on it, but I picked up a couple other things in the meantime.
Couple other things.
Yeah. But this one will be mostly done. I actually thought I might have it done for today, but I'm also like
it's amazing.
Social butterfly out doing whatever. So if you don't know the Velvet Acorn and you knit for children, or you know children, or you were a child and you just want to knit for something and then give it to someone, or knit it for yourself because the hats and stuff she has are amazing. Yeah. So Heidi May is the designer, and she owns Velvet Acorn, which is one of the largest Etsy shops in the world. Yeah. She has sold a ton of patterns. She does them all nearly in crochet and knitting. Yeah. And this is one called a Riva Sweater. Mm-hmm. And so I'm doing it for a 9-year-old friend. Mm-hmm. And she went through the whole entire repertoire and picked exactly what she wanted. So, and what's fun about it is a lot of them are really bulky. Yeah. So it's obviously very quick. I don't know. I started this Sunday. Yeah. And it's Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah, so what you do from here is kind of pick up, do a bit of ribbing, and so there's big pockets. You're
really on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, and I don't... Flatrock to this. Yeah, I know, right. And let me tell you, I don't like either of those ends. Oh. So I'm a 4 to 8 millimeter gal. Oh, okay. So I've got 2 point whatever. Mm-hmm. It's so small I can't read it. I have no idea what I'm knitting with. And this is a 12 millimeter, and I don't enjoy it.
Yeah, they're a little hard to
It's so slow. I don't like anything above an 8. Yeah. 9 would be pushing
but it's not slow.
But I hate 10 and I hate 12. It's cumbersome in your hands.
Yeah. Like these you can feel them like in your hands.
It's just sluggish. Like, I don't know. You can't get a really good rhythm with them. Yeah. It's impossible. They're just too big.
But the project goes fast.
And I am getting more used to it, but it's not my favorite sweet spot for needle sizes. But what I did was I'm knitting it out of big wool, which we wanted to try. Right. So this is a Rowan thing here. Yeah. And I'm actually going to list the big wool. If you want to make the sweater, we'll put it up, but it'll be a pre-order. We'll get it in for you.
Yeah.
But I am going to list it. I'm not going to make you email us and request it and blah, blah, blah. We'll list it. We'll make sure that Rowan has the inventory and the colors that we list for pre-order, because I only got the one bag in the color that sort of matched what Heidi May had designed it in. But I added, because it's not the recommended yarn, and the recommended yarn was a hairy, textured kind of yarn, so I added Kid Silkays.
Is there anything that Kid Silkays doesn't improve?
No.
Nothing.
So, first of all, because it's such a large, loose twist, I felt there was like a little bit of a risk of possibly a little bit of pilling happening with this yarn, just because of the size of the surface area of the fiber that, like, in the twist.
Yeah,
do you know
so
what I mean?
We've never knit with this before.
Right.
This is the first project that we've
But there's not a lot of twist and
it's a
tightness
very
there
soft
to protect
twist.
the ends from coming loose and not knobbing up. But with the Kid Silkays on top, I don't think it will.
Yeah.
It just creates something on top that kind of insulates it.
Usually if something's really going to pill, you can almost tell while you're knitting it.
Yeah, and I think we're good.
Yeah.
It
feels
actually
really
think
silky and nice.
Yeah, so also I wanted to just richen up the color a little bit. This is a little bit more lavendery.
Yeah. But keep staring at it because it's amazing, because the color is cement. So I'm sorry, Rowan, but
no concrete.
No concrete. Okay. They have another one called cement.
Oh,
yeah. So I don't know what went on with the naming. You know, we're all about the names in our stuff.
Right.
We take a long time figuring out names for our yarns, but concrete and cement and whatever.
But it's beautiful.
But when the bag arrived, I have to say, I was kind of like, oh, God, okay,
that's
whatever.
ugly. No,
like it's kind of a
bland,
like a total middle of the road gray.
Taupe, even could we say?
Well, not even. It's just gray. Like no.
So in this lavender haze that I'm adding, literally, is 589.
589.
Do you know what number that is? Okay, well I'll put it up below. But
there's a couple of them that are all kind of the same,
and it'll all be in the show notes.
Yeah. So what I was about to say is that even having these two side by side, it influences the color, like the way you look at the color.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
But I love it like this. It literally has a lavender haze on it now.
Yeah.
I'm glad you went with the darker one for a young one who might not want scratchy wool or whatever. Yeah. And it is the big beautiful wool. I think is 100% wool. So who could argue?
Yeah, it looks really nice.
It's going to be super cute.
Yeah, and it feels really, really lovely.
Yeah, so there's just like something like a 2x2 rib along the bottom, 2x2 rib you pick up to do the what would you call that? The band.
Button band?
Button band, but there's no buttons. It's open. It's like a swing cardigan.
Oh, okay.
And big patch pockets.
Oh,
so they can put their little hands in. So it's a tremendous project. Obviously really easy to fit.
Yeah.
I did not swatch.
Yeah.
But the great thing about knitting for kids is as long as it's not too small, they'll grow into it.
As long as it's not too small.
Yeah, it won't be too small.
Okay.
When I block this, I dare say it'll be a little bit on the large side.
Okay.
But that's perfect.
Yeah. Perfect.
So all the information will be in the show notes, and we will list.
So does she know you're knitting it for you or for her finally?
No.
Oh, okay. So
that's why we're being super cryptic about it.
Oh, okay.
Nobody tell anybody.
All right.
Who even knows who I'm talking about. It was requested, but many months ago.
Okay.
So we don't know what's coming.
You just forgot about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, the attention span of a 9-year-old for things like that. I can only imagine.
Are you meaning her attention span is less than yours or more than yours?
Well, it might be more than mine.
Yeah.
But in general.
I'm thinking she might remember. I don't know. Anyway.
So
just wanted to clarify.
So if you're interested in the project, all the information will be in the show notes, and have the fun of picking out the big wool Kid Silkays combination, which is always so fun, right? And big wool comes in some beautiful bright colors, like primary colors.
Yeah.
This was we picked what matched Heidi May's version of the sweater, the designer, but you could go really bright with it, like a bright school bus yellow, or it would just be really, really cute.
They
for
have
spring.
Like primary colors almost in some of them. Yeah.
So that's and listen, we've loved the Velvet Acorn.
Well, I don't have kids and I don't knit for kids, or I guess at this point I should be saying
Right.
I don't have grandkids, but just looking at her photography alone it's worth a look.
Totally
for sure.
adorable. And those are her own children.
Yes.
And they are getting older now, so she's going to have to look for some new models. And
Yeah.
then she's going to up the
Yeah.
up the maturity level of her patterns. But
Yeah.
and they're all available in crochet.
The same pattern,
Yeah.
but in crochet. Well,
She
that's
does them
something.
both.
Yeah.
Pretty well. I don't remember about this one specifically, but if you just haven't been on there,
Yeah.
you need to look her up.
Yeah.
She does the most adorable stuff for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've wanted to do something of hers for a long time, but I really felt knitting myself a scarf with a unicorn hood to wear around the house might have seemed a little weird for some people. So now I have a victim that I can
Yeah. Okay.
subject to all of that. Okay. So then the other thing was, and I totally upset with myself for not mentioning this last recording because we were supposed to, but I hadn't had time to cast it on, so I didn't.
Oh.
So Kristin at Scandiwork started a slipper cowl. So what happened with this is, and I don't know how to pronounce this. There's a symbol in there that's not even part of the English language.
Right.
So
Let's go with Sorine.
Sorine Slippers? Okay.
Okay.
So these slippers, so cute. My dog walks on every pattern that I leave anywhere. So there's always a claw hole and crumpled and some drips of slobber and stuff on every piece of paper. Okay. So these slippers were actually designed in our yarn.
Yes.
And they're her 20th slipper pattern.
Yes.
Yeah. And so she decided to celebrate by having a slipper knit along. So I'm knitting these for the knit along. The knit along is over at the end of December, and we've donated a prize. So I'll link to all the information below. Obviously, there's tons of time left in December for you to hop on board, knit the slippers. We're giving away 2 skeins of our Selkirk worsted as a prize for the knit along.
They're
And
knit in Selkirk worsted.
Yep. And I know Espace Tricot donated a prize, and I'm not sure what, there was a couple other people, and I'm sure they're all great prizes.
She was interviewed on Fruity Knitting twice, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have always wanted a pair of these little, like, Norwegian slippers, or what kind of
Scandinavian
slippers, whatever. So this is the heel, and then I'm assuming you attach this to the foot somehow, and then this is the bottom.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it in the colors that they were designed in, which was natural and crowing, because I can't wear natural around here. It's so filthy, like full of red PEI dirt. So I chose thistle and slate.
Yeah.
In our Selkirk worsted, which the pattern is designed for. And I love the colors together.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Now, they're supposed to be done on DPNs. This is another sticking point of mine. I will not do that. So I got them on here in the round. There will be no DPNs passing between my fingers. And the only tricky part was getting this cast on in pattern.
Yeah.
And so Kim did that part.
Because there was 2 choices, the backwards loop or the long tail cast on. And when I took a look at it, the long tail cast on actually would be, I think, easier than doing, but looked like it turned out okay.
I mean, I don't know that you can see. I mean, this whole trying to cast on with floats in pattern, we're changing colors, is no easy thing to do. So if somebody has some tips on that, but I'm happy with how it turned out.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would, that might be interesting. I'd like to do it the way that I figured out how to do it for that, and then do it with the long tail cast on method and see.
I know in the pattern it says the color on your index finger is the color of the stitch you're making.
Right.
But then you go 5, the gray in between.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how you float it, like how you catch the float then.
Well, it just seems to me intuitively that it would be easier with the long tail cast.
Probably. So you try that, and maybe you can do a tutorial later.
Yeah.
Maybe Kristin has one. But the other thing that I would not recommend doing. So I also didn't want the lighter color to be the larger proportion of the pattern. So I reversed them. But what that does when you're following a chart is that the dark square is your light color and the light square is your dark color. And let me tell you, I redid this probably 3-4 times because your brain will just pick the light color for the light square. It doesn't matter how many times you say it out loud. Thistle, thistle, slate, slate. And I'm looking at the chart and I'll do slate, slate, thistle, thistle because everything is reversed.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't recommend doing that. Honestly, it'll drive you absolutely crazy.
Especially if you're not used to doing color work.
but the color on the chart needs to be, the dark color needs to be the dark square. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, your brain just does not, it's like, no.
Yeah.
White, light.
Mistake.
Yeah, like, it's just, you have to turn it mentally almost every stitch until you get it memorized, and then you're not looking at the boxes on the chart.
Right.
So then I'm like, slate, thistle, slate, thistle, slate, thistle. But
maybe that's why a lot of patterns like that don't do that.
They use symbols.
They use symbols instead. Yeah. Might be harder to read. Like, not as you can't just glance at it. You have to actually.
Well, you can't just glance at this either if you reverse them.
Yeah.
Oh, I almost lost my mind. But I think I'm now that at least it's in the round, and I just kind of
following the pattern.
I just memorize it and then tell my brain what I'm doing, and then I don't look at the color of the squares again.
Good idea.
Yeah, because now I kind of, especially this is quite repetitive, so I don't have to look at the squares for this part and then this.
So now what do you do?
I have no
idea. You haven't
idea.
read ahead, of course.
No, I'm going to continue it down, and then a slipper's going to appear.
Okay, great.
Hopefully a second one shortly thereafter.
So that's the you didn't try those 2 at a time.
I could barely crank out. Like, it was ridiculous how long it took me to get that light
I'm
and
all
dark
about the 2 at a time now.
Square thing.
Because after my Huxley experiment with the front and the back.
Yeah, I mean, particularly
when round, it's something different.
When I added the second chart here, which is more of an organic motif than this.
Yeah.
I had to do the first 3 rows of this, like, at least 6 times.
Oh, yeah.
I kept getting the dark and the light square mixed up. Like, that's all it was.
So
it was...
So speaking of
bad idea.
Speaking of, I've done socks 2 at a time in the round with magic loop. Not really.
I don't think you found it fun.
No, I didn't find it fun. But Ken is now knitting a pair of socks from the Tin Can Knit Simple. I forget which grain they're called.
Simple collection.
Rye.
Maybe.
Rye. Anyway.
Barley? No.
Wheat.
Might be rye.
Rye. Yeah. Anyway, it's the socks, and he's knitting, and it was so funny because he was using the Chiagu bamboo needles for a lot of stuff that he was doing, and his knitting is very tight, like really tight. So then he's making these socks out of a really rustic wool, something we had like in the back that was pretty rough. I don't know. It might even be a little bit of suds left over or something like that.
Where did you get that?
I don't know. Well, yeah,
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Are they white?
No.
Okay.
So we dyed it. It was a dye job that didn't.
But what color?
It's kind of like a camouflage. You dyed it.
It doesn't even sound familiar.
It didn't work. So it ended up in a.
Okay, I've long blocked that out. Obviously,
yeah, you've blocked it out.
Camo.
I'm sure. Anyway,
Suds
he loves
here.
them.
Okay.
It's like, so it's probably not suds. It's something else that was equally as rough. So anyway. So he said, I don't know why, I offered him my Chiagu shorties in the metal, and now I can't believe what a difference it's made in his knitting, because he was so tight.
Because it's, oh my gosh, you can't even dig into it.
His knitting, no. Can you fix this? Not really, because you've got it on there
you
so
need
tight.
A crowbar and a...
So now he's knitting, and he's like, he said, this is so relaxing so relaxing that he's not even paying attention to what he's knitting. And I think he started them 3 times now, but whenever he gets himself in a mess, they still go in front of me. Anyway, he's going to do
progress this morning so far.
Yes.
Though? Okay.
Yes. So he does it while he's having his coffee.
But learning how to knit your own socks, if you're a guy, is like super useful.
Yes.
You don't have to wait for anyone else to knit them for you. I mean, fill your boots.
He loves wool socks. So I hope it's a big success.
And we don't really like knitting socks, so he'd be waiting a long time.
Yeah. So I hope it's a big success.
I actually have knit him a pair of socks myself before.
He wore them out, so I had to fix them.
Cashmere.
Yeah. I had to fix them. So, and I knit a pair of socks for him from Ann Budd's craftsy class, which is, it's like a recipe. So you pick the toe you want, pick the heel you want. Anyway, and they wore really, really well because he was wearing them in his work boots. And I just have to darn those too because now they're finally...
I still haven't taken mine
He's
back
had
out.
them a long time.
I need to get those red ones back out and start wearing them because I actually need to wear them because of this weather. So I know I've said it before. We're so overwhelmed with things to do. Just getting a pair of socks and putting them on is a big deal. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I think I interrupted you though. So were you done?
I don't know what it was. What did I do? I did yeah,
clicker.
I've done everything.
The clicker. The cowl and the...
Yeah, so join me and many others in the Scandiwork slipper knit along if you've ever wanted those Scandinavian colorwork type slippers, because it is a really fun project if you don't get the squares mixed up.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm going to enjoy them. And they're a nice tight fitting slipper.
Socky type.
Yeah, but I'm going to have to put something on the bottoms.
Yeah.
Because wooden stairs in old houses are like a death trap. You can
buy those little suede patches.
Yeah. I gotta but that'll cover up the pattern. I think you can get something that you glue on.
Oh,
like a clear silicone kind of thing.
Probably a craft store would have that.
Yeah, if you know what that is, put it in the comments because I want to get some of that. I don't want to cover up my pattern with a suede. That I knew. Blood, sweat, and tears went into the bottom of that slipper. Right. I could have just knit it all in slate and been done with it.
I'm sure people are tell us if it exists.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
Yeah. Yeah, so I have socks that have that on it.
I need that goo that you put on the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, I would
use
like a silicone, but
it has to stick to fabric.
Thing. Yeah,
I bet you Jefferson has that. One of our suppliers. I should look that up.
We'll see if we can find it and we'll get it. Okay, so I think that's all my whips.
Okay,
you have a whip.
So I have whips and FOs.
Okay,
so
you're gonna do your whip now.
The whip is Paisley. That and I didn't necessarily want to bring it because there's not really much to see, and I say this to myself almost every time I come out here with it, is that I should do a progress keeper because I actually did knit on it.
Oh, okay. Definitely do a progress keeper then.
Yeah, because it doesn't look like it, but look, how matchy is all of this?
Wow, it's a little overwhelming at the moment. Yeah. Test pattern. Okay.
Yeah. So, so I'm still going and everything's going fine. So I haven't, and I do a little bit on it every night. Oops. But I maybe do Christmas balls in between. And so that's that. So at some point it'll be finished, but it seems to be slow going.
Okay.
Yeah. So each of these squares, if you include the dark and the light, and the dark is 1 centimeter. So that's how I'm going, okay, another centimeter down. Another centimeter anyway.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have a race, Flatrock versus Paisley.
Oh. Okay.
Including your adornments.
Oh.
I'm knitting lace cable sleeves in a 2.2 millimeter.
I don't know. I think you're trying to stack the deck.
I think you would actually win.
Yeah, I don't know. I got the sleeves to do yet. And then Andrew and Fruity Knitting did hers, and her last episode, she's like so far ahead of me, and she started after. She didn't have to rip her whole thing out, but that's my story. And
okay, well, I don't know what these big projects, you got to do little things in between.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that's just how it is. Okay.
So I did Christmas balls.
Right.
All right, so I have, some of these are from last year, and...
This is the FO section we're on now.
Yeah, okay. We just jumped right to the FO section. Okay. And then this one was one done with Strawberry Fields last year. And natural.
Nice.
Back when we had the fingering, I think.
No way.
No?
Never made Strawberry Field and fingering.
Yeah, anyway, it looks nice.
I don't imagine.
So here's the lesson. So first of all, I'm an idiot.
I think everybody knows that about both of us by now.
That's the first lesson. So I couldn't figure out why the balls that I was making were... So I bought...
Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah, let's start from the beginning. So Arne and Carlos announced that they had 24 Christmas balls, advent calendar, and then 24 balls, patterns on our website. I went in and I bought the 24 ball pattern that I saw. And
mini balls.
Yeah, but I didn't realize they were mini balls until I started knitting them. And then Ken could, because it was obsessing me, because every time they were advertising their advent calendar, they were showing these balls. And I said to Ken, I said, look at those two. Cheating. Those aren't the balls that are in the Christmas calendar, because I have the balls in the Christmas calendar and none of those patterns
They've gone
are on
off
there.
Script, you thought.
They went rogue. And then I was like, and what kind of advent calendar is this? Because I can see all the patterns. So it doesn't make sense to me. So I started to and then they started knitting their balls, and I'm like, what are they doing? They're big. They're big balls, not little balls. So anyway, I went back to the website and realized that I made the assumption that it was the advent calendar just because there was 24
mini balls.
But in fact, they were doing 24 other balls for the advent calendar, which are the big size, the full size balls. But
when you say other, they're not new patterns. They're either... Are all the advent balls large balls?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They're all large balls.
And they're all from the book.
I don't know if they're all from the book or not.
So a lot of different ball patterns.
Yeah,
okay.
there's a lot of balls going around.
Okay.
So I'd have to check if they're from the book or not.
Okay.
But I do recognize some of them from the book. But anyway, so you're supposed to be following along. I thought I was going to be a smarty pants, and I knit up 3 or 4 balls at once at the beginning, because that would give me some time if I couldn't keep going, because they don't really take. There was the mini balls I was knitting.
Right.
They really don't take a lot of time to knit, so I thought that would be manageable. Then when I figured out that I wasn't even following the advent calendar, I had to start knitting the big balls, but they were already on day 4.
Right. So you were knitting the mini balls in order 1 through 24, thinking that was the advent calendar. But in fact, the advent calendar
thinking I was so smart.
You thought they had sent that to you in advance.
Yes.
But in fact, the advent calendar balls are being released one day at a time.
No, you can buy it. You get you see? When you subscribe,
try to help, but I don't think it's working.
When you subscribe to their newsletter, you got an opportunity to buy the advent calendar in advance.
I thought that's what you did.
I bought the mini balls by mistake.
Oh, so there was 2 digital products.
Yes.
Mini balls, 24 mini balls, and the advent calendar balls.
24 balls.
So did you now go back in and buy the advent calendar 24? And now you're following that?
Yes.
And then you'll knit the mini balls if you have extra time?
Yes, but if you have the advent, some people are, unveiling each of the digital patterns one at a time. I printed them off.
Okay, so now you have to try to get ahead again.
Yes, so now I have to try to catch up. It's not going to happen.
That is confusing.
A little bit.
But at the end of the day, knit the 48 balls and you've got them all covered.
Yeah, and I actually like doing these little ones because they're very quick to do.
And cute. And our tree is looking, they make quite an impact.
They do.
If you knit 48 of these, I'd say you'd be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just keep the moths out of them.
So then there's the angel, and the Christmas present I think is really...
And this is a top.
Yeah, that one was a little bit...
Well, no, I see it's on its side.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Don't turn it around. It's like the bad side of the Christmas tree.
It's fine.
It's a little bit off.
And this is a snowflake? No.
That's a big one.
This is a bird.
No.
What is this?
It's a snowflake.
It looks like a turtle. A turtle on its back. Okay.
And that's from last year. So that's from the book.
Is this not the same snowflake as this?
No.
Okay. And this is just a pattern.
Yeah, like a northern.
Okay.
Well, they call that a snowflake too.
Okay. And then what have you got on the table?
So, and then, so these are the ones, these are whips.
Okay.
So I have a Christmas tree.
Cute.
In the mini balls.
Right.
And then even to make it more confusing, they did a spruce. And I was like, they put green on it. And I was like, well, that's not, I just look like this. See, this is what happens.
Glad I didn't go down this road.
This is what happens when you're knitting while you're watching, and then you run up and you order something and you really didn't get, obviously you can't attend to both things at once.
Fraught with confusion.
But this one is my favorite, I think.
Yeah, that's really sharp looking.
This is a paper chain. And now I forget about the order they're going in. I'm just knitting a ball a day. And
well, now it sounds like you need to knit 2 balls a day.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. So,
but you're ahead on one section.
Yeah. So on the big ones, because I like to pull the string through and then tie in a little bow in the bottom. I talked about that before, but on the big ones, I'm leaving them smooth because it does make it kind of look like a bit like an apple when you do that.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Cute.
And I just have to do the crochet chain, and some of them I like to use the 2 colors together in the crochet chain, but I've done a couple where I've just like this one. I just did the single.
Mix it up.
Yeah, I'm mixing it up.
Sweet.
Yeah.
They're looking good.
Yeah, and they're filled with our wool.
Right.
Yeah. Stuffing.
Which we have for sale.
Yeah, the wool stuffing.
But if you're you can't really, there's still some Christmas yarn listed, but you're not necessarily going to get it in time to play along now.
No, but they're a fun project to do anytime.
Yeah.
Because
start now for next year.
Right. So I learned to I knew this, but I never really had it happen before. So because I know not to do this, but in this case with these balls, you don't only, when you're carrying the yarn around, you only have so many places where you can carry the float. And I twisted the float in the same stitch. You're not supposed to stack your twists when you're catching floats. And now I have a good example of why you don't do that, because then you can really, it creates like a rib inside of the color. So you can see, so this one I'm not really that happy with, because that's all through the whole thing.
So will you redo that then?
No.
Okay.
So, so that's it. And now I'm doing this is going to be, so they called it mutton, but I think they should have said mouton.
Okay.
So it's a sheep. It's a sheep. So I'll finish this one tonight. So that just have his like
mutton? Are you sure?
Yeah, that's how they pronounced it, but they should have called it mouton.
Because mutton is the meat.
Yes.
Mouton is alive.
Yeah.
Okay. It's definitely a mouton.
Yeah.
Whereas sheep is a mouflon.
No, a mouton.
What's a mouflon then?
I have
a goat?
I don't know.
Mouflon is something.
I think sheep in French, the grown-up sheep is called a mouton. I thought
it might be, but what's a mouflon?
I don't know.
It's something.
Something out of Dr. Seuss.
I would look it up, but I don't want to stop it right now and grab my phone.
Anyway, it's it's a little bit.
Well, we don't know what that is then.
Yeah, this is a live sheep.
I actually seriously think it's a mouflon is a sheep.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
En français. I don't know.
Oh well, Gina will write. Gina will write to us. Okay. Anyway, mine is not a mutton.
Sadly, I mean, people out there who don't live in Canada probably think we're actually a bilingual country. We're not. We try, but we're actually not.
And so the beautiful colors that Arna and Carlos chose to do their Christmas balls in soft alpaca soft DK are not available. They're out of stock at Rowan. So I'm doing all of mine in Selkirk worsted, and we had a big discussion about the green because some of the patterns have green. So I'm using the Velvet Bow, which is like a traditional red. So instead of we have a color that's pretty close to the clover in the alpaca soft DK, but I've chose to use fur instead for my green, just because it's...
and fur is available year round.
Yes.
So fill your boots with fur.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's a really rich...
So fill your boots is a Canadian expression. It means like let her rip. Give her. To your heart's content.
Yes. All of those
People
things.
Don't know fill your boots. Yeah. I don't even think they know it out west, actually. But there's your explanation.
So there's my tag. So we're going to talk about what we're wearing. All right. So so that's the Christmas ball and the Paisley situation. But I've done quite a few balls.
It's overwhelming. Yeah. There's always been a ball coming off the line.
Every day.
Even if it wasn't the right ball for the right program.
Often the wrong one. Often the wrong one. But
glad we got that sorted out. So we just have another FO that we're going to show, and it leads into the shop update.
Okay.
So let's talk about that.
All right.
Okay, so we've shown these before because we had the Solstice Mittens from the Saltwater Mittens book. Or is it Saltwater Classics? Saltwater Gifts. We don't know which Saltwater book this is from. But it's called the Solstice Mitten, and these were Janet, our employee, knit these ones as well, because those were hers that we showed a couple of episodes ago. And she did it in Garfield Grizzly, in Heath, and the Natural. Mm-hmm. And I know some of you have Garfield Grizzly at home, possibly in Heath, possibly in Natural.
That was the first color we did, right?
Batch of Garfield Grizzly we ever did. And if it's sitting in your stash, you should make the Solstice Mittens with it. Mm-hmm. But... I, of course, could have made more Heath and Natural. Yeah. But how boring is that?
Right. Wouldn't want to do the same thing twice.
So we had some Garfield Grizzly. And truthfully, I actually am not sure I remember how I made the Heath.
Okay, so the truth,
that might be part of it. Yeah. But I can figure it out, obviously. But I just wanted to do something different. And Janet wanted something different. So I was like, Janet, what about something like Heath, but in pinks and magentas? And she was like, yeah, I want that. And I was like, okay. Don't ask me how I made this. I'm never making this again. I have no idea what I did this morning. This I'm calling Sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
So we were a little bit behind the 8-ball, pardon the pun, on the Christmas yarn.
Yeah.
Because I'm already getting notes like, my tree is empty. Where's my Christmas yarn? So we probably should have started with that October 1st. And like, we're making it and shipping it as fast as we can.
Yes.
And I'm sorry your tree is empty, but we're making it as fast as we can.
Yeah. And literally, we're making it. Like, we're making like literally kilograms of it and shipping it out.
Yeah.
Like right away.
So we don't like to, some of it's being dyed to order. So I'm sorry, you're going to have to knit your balls double time.
Yeah.
But it'll be out to you shortly. A lot of people have already gotten theirs, but some people who ordered it a little bit later.
Yeah.
It's down to the wire. Yeah. I know, but we still have to maintain our 2 weeks turnaround, especially now. It's very busy. So you're just going to have to wait the 2 weeks to get the yarn. Yeah. More on that later. Anyway, I did a pink because Janet really wanted a pink, and she's got some more natural gray at home. Now, we don't have any natural Garfield Grizzly left.
Yeah.
No. But if you have some at home and you want to make the Solstice Mittens in a lovely pink and the natural, how beautiful would that be?
Really nice.
So this is really just for Janet.
Yeah.
But we have extra. Yeah. And we've listed it. Link to buy it is in the show notes below. Equally, you may want to buy several skeins and make some kind of different project with it. Yeah. Garfield Grizzly, as you know, is always sort of a mélange of leftover fiber. There's maybe some Icelandic in here, maybe a little bit of alpaca. Don't order if you're allergic to anything because we don't know what's in it. Yeah. Really, like we don't have the percentages and stuff. This is a medium softness version. It's probably not the softest. If it's got more alpaca in it, tends to be a little bit softer. Yeah. So it's a little bit of a rougher version of the Garfield Grizzly than some that we've made. But, you throw some Kid Silkés on with that. Yeah. And there's lots of colors of Kid Silkés that would go with this.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So just a reminder, Garfield Grizzly is also what we knit, or what I knit my Sunday cardigan out of with Kid Silkés. And me too. And did you? Yeah. I couldn't even remember if you did it with that or worsted or Aran or whatever. No. So Sweetheart in Garfield Grizzly. Yeah. Now listed. Made for Janet for the Solstice Mittens.
Made for Janet with love.
We like to keep our employees happy and knitting. So then we had a bunch of Heatherdale Lopi left over. Right. And in natural brown, which, is good for certain things. But we had a lot of it. Yeah. And it wasn't lighting my fire in the natural brown in that volume. Yes. Like in those mare hat and mitts that Jen made, it was beautiful. But I really have been dying to dye some Lopi and Icelandic purists. Yeah. We've gotten a few notes about not dyeing the Icelandic. But all bets are off in 2020. I dyed the Icelandic. Live with it. Okay. But this turned out.
Yes. It's really something.
Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. And it is soft. It's, of course, a traditional Icelandic Lopi, so it's a single, lightly twisted. Yeah. We're calling this, in line with the season, mulled wine.
Yeah. I think the spinning on this is just fantastic.
It's your best thing of Lopi ever. Like, for sure. No kidding. Like, it is one of the most beautiful yarns we've ever made. Yeah. I mean, color and spinning combo and softness, and it's gorgeous. Yeah,
well balanced.
So I have several dozen of these. Yeah. So now's your chance. And I think I'm going to dye more Lopi more often. Now that I've broken that seal and I've just ticked off all the Icelandic Lopi purists, they'll be unfriending me on Facebook and whatever, then I have nothing to lose. Yeah. Because I'd actually like to do, I should have brought the natural to show the difference. Yeah. But it was a medium brown Icelandic natural fleece,
which was lovely.
It's nice if you just want a natural brown. That sheep was your guy, but I happen to like it like this, and the mulled wine is the perfect color for
a good richness
holiday season. Yeah. And, it's always hard to decide what am I going to apply on top of that, because the colors, when there's a brown underneath, are always so rich and beautiful. You kind of can't really go wrong. But we haven't done a brown with this Bordeaux sort of color over it in a while. Yeah. And it's a beautiful, beautiful yarn. And these are 125 yards, I think. And the Garfield Grizzly is 200 yards. So you'd need a few of them if you're going to do something big, but it's a little luxury item, great for accessories. And the color, I don't know if it's going to show as well as I would like it to. It's now dark outside and we're here jammed in my living room with some lighting, but not super natural lighting, but
it's beautiful.
Beautiful. I'm tempted to make some, but I won't. I'll leave them all for you all to purchase. But yeah, a couple of fun little, we don't get to do special colors and collections that often anymore. No. So that was fun. I did all that this morning.
Yes.
Before we sat down here.
Yeah.
So that's great. Okay. And then people have been asking if we were going to get in this lovely book, the Lina 10, which I thought there wasn't going to be another Lina.
No, so, they decided to
So
restart.
they've resumed.
Yeah.
So let's do a little slideshow of the patterns that are contained within this lovely book, much anticipated.
Yes.
We've gotten several notes asking if we're going to carry it, and it just so happens this episode comes out on its release date.
Yes.
So we are allowed to sell them
right on.
as of now. Link is in the show notes, but let's just take a look at what is in this magazine. All right. So
great.
Happy that Lina is back in production because
so they've changed their font and everything.
Yeah, it looks like a total redesign.
Yeah.
Because definitely a little bit of a different aesthetic on this issue, but the same lovely paper and beautiful writing and just this is called Winter Comfort. Like, yes, please.
Yeah.
Is this recipe in here? What are these? Cinnamon buns? Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. There's like a soup recipe and some saffron knots with almond orange filling.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, this could keep you entertained for all of January and February.
Yeah.
Very, very easily. We've ordered some.
Yeah.
We didn't go crazy.
Yeah.
So if you've been really waiting to get this, now's your chance. And we will try to order more, but I have a suspicion it might go to a second printing or something. So there might be a little bit of delay.
And we restocked on the other ones we were out of as well.
Yeah, so we have all the Lina issues in stock except for 3, which is out of print.
Yes.
And you cannot get anymore unless they decide to print it again for some reason. So so if you're missing some in your collection, now that they've resumed and you want to complete that, then away you go. All right.
Okay.
Now, shop update wise, let's talk about what we're wearing.
Okay.
So this is called, pronouncing things with the braces is a whole other, Heath and Fithwell. And things like that.
Yeah.
Extra challenging. I don't know why. They're on the front of my teeth.
This is not a TH.
How does it affect me, though? Why?
I don't know. I think you just can't pronounce it.
So this is called South. You try it.
Well, now I used to be able to do it until I heard you saying it.
Well, no, go ahead.
No, I can't.
Well, what is it? South?
South. Yeah, there's a little bit of a thing at the back.
South.
Yeah, like the author.
Okay.
I think.
You get the picture.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've shown it below written out. Please don't comment on our language skills. We really only speak the one. And not that well at that.
No.
Okay.
It's getting worse all the time.
Yeah. So this is a pattern by Georgia Farrell.
Yeah.
This was in our little love package from Rowan.
Trunk show.
And I grabbed it. I was like, what's that fluffy thing in the bag there?
Yeah.
Put that on. That looks lovely. And it's super cozy, but it's actually from a summer magazine. It's from magazine 67, which we did a bunch of stuff with in the spring.
Yeah.
But we're bringing it back.
It's the magazine with the Earhart shawl.
Yeah, the Earhart shawl, which we did a kit for. And a lot of people that watch already own it.
Yes.
So if you already have magazine 67, which has that lovely Bowie sweater on the cover.
It's beautiful.
That Andrew knit.
Yeah.
In that beautiful chartreuse
Pear,
green.
Yeah.
This is from the same book.
Yes.
So we've put this up in a kit.
Yes.
You can buy the kit with the book. Or if you already have the book, you can buy the kit, just the yarn.
Right.
So I'm going to list both versions of it. It is
a hug.
It feels wonderful because it's made with the fine lace.
Yeah.
Which is a merino something blend.
Surrey
alpaca.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely yarn that we just haven't used enough ourselves.
No.
And that's what the Bowie is knit out of.
And
the Earhart shawl.
That's right.
Yeah. So you kind of get the idea if you've touched or knit either one of those, what it's like. In this case, it's paired with Kid Silkays. There's a pairing here in the dark part, and there's a pairing here in the green.
It's Turkish plum in the dark.
Turkish plum and noir, or whatever the black is. I actually had printed out the paper with what was on it, but I clearly left that out in the shop. Okay. And then pigeon and Eve green in the stripe. Now, it's not a bad proportion for a shawl, but I can tell you right now, if I was knitting it, it'd go up a full millimeter. Just make it a little bit looser and bigger.
Yeah, or would you just do more repeats?
Well, either one, but I wouldn't suggest that with the kit because might not be enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to do more repeats, then you're going to have to order it a la carte.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would go up a needle size. And do you think, would that affect the amount of yarn that much?
I think it might, but I'm not sure how much. We'll have to weigh it and see exactly how much of the balls that they use.
Yeah. So we'll add some more information in the description on the kit just to be... So now I probably have to go contradict myself. But you can, of course, always throw an extra ball of any of these in if you're concerned about it. My sense is I think there's probably lots of extra. I mean, 230 yards of Eve Green and Kidsall Case, this is nothing.
Yeah.
Right? You could definitely add some more stripes with that
And
part.
do you want to talk about your pin?
And I've got the circle pin from Jewel Designs in it.
Yeah. That's modern circle, I think,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, I don't know that I've called it that online. I think I've just called it circle. But
okay.
So I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
We can't focus anything like all the podcasters do because, of course, our camera is refocusing all the time.
Yes.
So I now have the autofocus shut off.
Yeah.
Because I hate Apple so much. Because it wasn't a fly. It was actually an issue with the brand new iPad that we spent a fortune on. So thank you, Apple.
Yeah.
I continue to trust you and you continue to let me down.
Yeah.
So this is up as a kit.
Right.
And I love it. And we'll double check, but I think you'd be able to make it with a larger needle and still get away with it. But you're going to have to make your own judgment on that because I haven't actually gone and done it.
Yeah.
It's just a tiny bit small for me.
Mm-hmm.
It feels really nice and cozy across my back, though.
Yeah.
And if you already have the book, then why not? It's another project that you can get. And, of course, there's always, a little bit of savings on the yarn when we kit something up.
Right.
So that's what I'm wearing. Mm-hmm. What are you wearing? Something else we can't pronounce.
Right. I'm going to go with Achebe.
Okay. Do we know what language that is?
No, I have no idea. I could have looked it up, I suppose.
Right.
But I didn't.
Okay.
So, once again, we're reviving a pattern from another book that we've already talked about. So, this actually comes out of magazine 66.
This looks so warm, though.
It is gorgeous.
I almost want to put that on because I'm a little chilly now.
Just feel it has weight to it.
Yeah.
Too. So, this is...
Oh my gosh, it's so
So,
cozy.
I have the tag because Rowan does these lovely tags on all their trunk show stuff. So, it's by Martin Storey.
Nice.
Let
me try.
Martin Storey.
Alpaca Soft Decay in multiple colors.
Yeah.
Okay. Magazine 66.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
That's
Martin
all that's
Storey,
on there.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, is that the part you were trying to read? Yeah. No, that's it.
Okay.
Martin Storey.
All right. Sure. Of course. So Martin Storey does a lot of these wraps, and I know that when you go into the website and you look at the yarn requirements and you start to add it up, it seems like it's a big investment. It's not like a scarf.
Right. No, it's a lot of fabric. My goodness, it's like 3 sweaters worth of fabric.
Yeah. And this is one of the colors is Rainy Day, which is one of the colors that is not available. Famous Rainy Day because it hasn't really been available. So what I did was I picked a couple of different colors that we do have in stock that are available that you can see. You can just see how you can make. This is actually trench coat and not this. I think this one is hyacinth and that's out of stock as well. But you can see you're going to get the same effect.
This looks actually lovely. I really like it with the blue tone instead of the lavender gray.
Yeah.
I think I would really like that.
Yeah. So there's lots of options and it just is a very lovely feeling feeling yarn. But
I think it takes 19 balls if you want to make this all together. But what a treat. Okay. Where to go? Here. What's popping out all the time now? We can't find it. So we will put 19 balls.
Yeah.
So in the show notes, we will put the link to the magazine that this came from.
Yeah.
These suggested colors and the number of balls you would need if you want to make it in these. Yeah. But we're not doing up a kit.
No. And we have talked about Magazine 66 a lot because that's what Huxley was in there.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
This one was in there.
Right.
So there's and that Hughes scarf I think is in there.
Yeah.
There's just it's true when we say like that's one of the magazines that you could knit almost absolutely everything.
And if you already have it, because a lot of people did buy it, it's the one that came with 2 magazines actually in the wrap.
That's right.
Then you can now knit this without having to buy a magazine.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah. I'm wishing I had picked that because I'm freezing right now.
Are you?
I don't know why it's so cold here all of a sudden because I shut the door and my fireplace is in the other room. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, all right.
So that's
that's the shop update. Yeah. Lots going on. Everything's in the show notes.
Right.
Where you can find it. Okay. So the fruitcake.
Yes. So what's the update?
So when I was here last, we were about to bake the fruitcake the following evening. Right. After soaking the fruit for a mere 4 days, which seems like folly now. Because from all your comments, I gather that you could soak the fruit a lot longer.
Yeah.
So, Rachel, we baked them. Now, mine cracked a little bit on the top. Comment and let me know what a disaster that may or may not be.
Well, I think that
I was very nervous.
An opportunity for more alcohol to soak in.
Possibly, but to me, I think, it's dry as the Grand Canyon.
Oh dear.
Or I overcooked it.
Just more apricot brandy.
And I had taken the responsibility of oiling and flouring the pans, and the things stuck.
Oh.
Now, Rachel, being the miracle worker that she is, managed to get them out of the pan.
Oh.
But it wasn't easy. I think it took her about 25 minutes a cake.
Oh.
So she salvaged most of our $40 worth of fruit ingredients. And then she sent me this lovely picture of them dressed up in their shroud, as she put it, after being soaked in alcohol. No offense. Not to, make a religious reference. But it really does look like they've been fitted for their shroud, as she put it. And she's been feeding them alcohol. Yeah. Plying them with alcohol. Mm-hmm. Praying to the Lord above that they not be dry. And now, because I can never leave well enough alone, I wanted a square fruit cake, and the recipe was for a round fruit cake. And of course, when you mess with pan sizes and depths in baking, the cook time has changed.
Oh.
Who makes a round fruit cake?
Everybody.
No, I like the loaf type.
Oh, the loaf. Okay. Not a square. I was picturing
it's like
a brownie pan.
I made mine in a loaf pan. I know. Okay. So that's probably why mine cracked. Because I could never just follow instructions. But also I didn't have an 8-inch like a cake pan. So I had several 9-inch ones, which would be even worse. Right. Because then it would be really thin. And then for sure it would crack while Rachel's was still bubbling along nicely. Right. So, I could never just do what it says.
So did you guys mix them together, or did you just make did you both make individual?
No, we mixed them together and it makes 2.
Oh, okay.
But we made 2, one in different shape.
Okay, so yours cracked just because of the change in the pan?
Probably.
Wow.
Might have been a bit thinner.
I'm not really a baker.
Hers didn't crack. So... I don't know. Yeah, they were in the same oven.
Oh, okay.
And we had a pot of water in the oven, to keep them moist and all of that, and mine still cracked a little bit. Let's not get carried away. It was... Once it cooled, you could barely see it.
Okay.
And we don't jammed a bunch of apricot brandy down in it.
Okay.
But, anyways. So I got to go pick the thing up from Rachel because she's been babysitting it for like 2 weeks now, but I
Okay.
haven't gone into town to get it. So I'm going to go bring the fruitcake home, and then we should be able to try it.
Yeah.
So
we don't have to look after it anymore, right?
Well, I think the more
it's not going to be like the sourdough baby, is it?
Well, no. Well, the more alcohol you feed it, the better it is, I think. Or the more you'll enjoy eating it, possibly. Or at least feel better after eating it.
Yeah.
So, but I feel bad. She's been babysitting it for 2 weeks. So I really need to go back. But I couldn't stay at her place late enough for it to cool that night.
Okay.
And she was in charge of the cheesecloth and all that.
Okay.
So I'm going to go pick the thing up tomorrow night. And then it's my responsibility from that point on.
Okay.
And
don't blame her.
Thank you for everyone who sent a recipe because there's a number of them on there that I might want to try for next year. And I'll definitely be soaking the fruit a month next year. But let me tell you something. This is how I am when I get determined about having something.
Okay.
If this fruitcake is not all I dreamt of on December 20th, I'm just going to go ahead and make a fruitcake in January. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
There's no rule.
No. They're still excellent with tea.
I feel like we had that one of Donald's. It wasn't Christmas.
No, it was after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing this again.
Yeah.
If I'm not happy with it, I'll be doing it again.
Yeah. Perfect.
So that's the fruitcake. So now I write Rachel for regular updates, and she's like, I have great news. Fruitcake update. I was like, oh, I didn't even have to ask. She said, all of a sudden, I was sitting there knitting, and I got really paranoid that perhaps mold was forming on my fruitcake.
Oh.
Does that happen? Is that even a thing? I don't know. So
know.
she's like, so I unwrapped it, and a corner accidentally fell off. And I'm thinking, yours doesn't have any corners. So are you telling me you ate part of my fruitcake? I'm still not sure whose fruitcake the corner fell off. But she tried it and said it definitely still needs some aging,
Yeah.
but that it was quite delicious.
Okay. Excellent.
To me, they look a little dark. I think they got overcooked.
Really? No.
Yeah. And then we tried to look for reassurance from a chef friend, and he said, well, fruitcake is very forgiving. And I'm thinking, I don't want to be forgiven. I want it to be perfect.
Yeah. Well, it's already not perfect. So don't worry about it.
I'm going to have to make
You've
it
been
again.
released.
I haven't. It's
from
just,
perfection.
It's not. Donald, are you listening?
No. Well, it's not Donald's fault that with Donald's recipe in the wrong pan might have had the same result.
I know. Now I just want him to drop some off. At this point, I'm giving up.
All right.
Okay, so that's the fruitcake.
All right.
So by next episode, we probably will have tried it. Or we might be sitting here with a piece.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be great. We can make that happen. I mean, I've already not
I'm
soaked
pretty
the fruit
sure
for a month. What difference is it going to make if we cut it early? There's a corner falling off somewhere. Someone's
corner. One had
Right.
a corner, another one didn't. So we
Right.
know who that is.
So
Don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to figure out whose corner fell off.
Anyway, so that's the fruitcake. So now, before we get to the retail thing, the mouse.
Yeah.
So I met my friend that was living in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And now,
Eye to eye.
I can ignore quite a lot. If somebody's rooting around in there and it doesn't upset the dog and I haven't seen anything, I can pretend you're just one mouse, mind your own business, living in the back of my tub. I don't care. But yesterday, I was sitting in my bed emailing somebody, and the little guy came right out from behind my bookshelf and was like, oh, sorry. Sorry to disturb. And he went back in because I was so quiet. I was quieter than a mouse. He didn't know I was in there. So I was like, I'm a farm gal, right? I was like, ugh, a mouse. Many would have screamed and gotten hysterical and been all concerned about rodents. But I was like, oh yeah, okay. So now I've seen him. Now I've seen him or her. And he's about this big.
Yeah. So
I was just like, ugh, deal with that later. Went back to emailing. 2 minutes later, he popped his head out again like, are you still here? Like, this is my path back to the bathtub. Do you mind clearing out so that I can safely traverse your room and get into my spot where I like to go nap after my breakfast?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, now I've seen you, and then that makes me nervous that maybe there's, like, more than one or
Are you
whatever.
sure it was the same one?
No, I have no idea.
That's right.
Yeah, so we're now attempting to deal with the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, but you can't just walk around my room like you own the place.
Right.
In the walls is one thing.
Not a pet.
And honestly, like, people find that fairly unpalatable if they're visiting.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but...
Well, I've seen it.
Yeah.
There's
you
no
can't
denying
anymore.
that there might be a leaf blowing around between the walls, which could happen with the amount of insulation we have. None.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, is that what you were trying to tell yourself? That it was a leaf in the...
Sounded like scratching. Anyway, there's definitely a mouse living in my bedroom.
Oh, okay.
And he definitely ate my darkness watch.
That's right.
And he's obviously eating something else by the size of him. I don't know where he's shopping.
Yeah.
But somewhere in this house.
Right.
So,
because you haven't seen any signs of it. Because usually you can find
nothing in my cupboards for sure.
Yeah.
Let's not get into the gory details.
Yeah.
Okay, so the mouse...
I don't know.
Stop moving in here.
Yeah, just stay outside. Everybody.
Yeah. There's barns galore. Buildings galore. Just stay out in those
lots
ones.
Of straw.
Don't come in here.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the mouse.
Yeah.
And you saw him in the basement. Or one of his comrades.
Yes.
Okay. So
they have a little path to the outside.
Them in two different locations.
So we have a stone basement.
Foundation.
Yeah, a stone foundation. So it's not like they get into a cement.
It's not tight.
It's an old. It's a 160-year-old foundation.
Island stone foundation.
Yeah,
as they call it. Okay. Yeah. So that's what's happening in my life.
Yeah.
And then this morning, we got a little email that was asking why yarn hadn't been shipped when they had ordered it on Saturday. And it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
And so we were thinking, wow, like, we just kind of, that's fine, we shipped the yarn.
Yeah.
But one thing led to another.
And we started talking.
Yeah, and we were talking about how the yarn was actually done up for that person.
Yeah.
So I was able to throw it in the box and make them happy because they need it by Christmas.
Yeah.
But we really are working as hard as we possibly can. And that just led to a discussion about how intense things get around the holidays.
Yes.
Because as you know, it is the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah.
And it's a religious holiday.
Yeah.
And it existed before Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And people are not that charitable sometimes.
Yes.
So
to get a little impatient.
So I can only imagine what things are like downtown, given that stores are not at full capacity. Yeah. And you have to now stand out in the cold for up to an hour to even get in to do your shopping.
Yeah.
So much love to all the retail workers.
Yes.
Let's say that.
We were them.
We've been there.
Yes.
So we have both I've worked at Sears and Eaton's, sort of as a contractor, and the Bay.
Yeah.
And I worked at Sears as an HR person.
Yeah.
And you've worked at all of them.
Yes. No. I've worked at Sears. I worked at Eaton's. My first job was at retail. After Burger King, yes.
Then you were at Fairweather.
And then I went to Eaton's.
Yeah, okay.
So I worked at Eaton's for a long time, like quite a long time. I paid for university working at Eaton's.
And so I've worked at them all. Now, I didn't seem to get the amount of abuse you got.
Yeah.
For some reason, because I'm assuming you were probably a lot nicer.
They
probably didn't want to pick a fight with me.
I worked quite a lot of hours.
Right.
So, like, it wasn't just an after school kind of job.
Like full time.
Well, I wasn't full time, but I because I had different hours with my university, and I could zip up and do like a 4-hour shift and then go back to university and stuff like that. And so I worked quite a lot.
Right.
So, so you want me to tell my...
So much like the Burger King thing, we want to hear specifically around the holiday time, the most outrageous things that people have done to you as a retail worker.
Yeah.
Because yours really takes the cake.
Which one?
Not back to cake. Well...
There's two.
Okay. Tell them both. Was the other one at Christmas time too, though?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. So they're both Christmas.
Just, stay charming.
Yes. Yes. Try to be kind.
Try to stay charming. Okay.
So, well, I don't know which one. Maybe I'll start in chronological order.
Okay.
Because
good.
I was working at Eaton's when I was 16.
Okay.
Little innocent 16-year-old. And this gentleman came to the counter. And at that time, I was working in the fragrance department. And he came up to the counter and he said he wanted to buy something for his wife so that she could have like a lotion. And I said, well, I was on a Chanel No. 5 kick at that time. So I said, yes.
As was everybody.
Yes.
It was the 80s, remember?
Yes. We have, the most beautiful Chanel No. 5 body lotion. And I'm sure your wife would love this. Maybe it was his girlfriend. I don't know. Anyway, his wife or girlfriend. I can't remember. His partner. So anyway, so then he said, he said, that's nice, but that's not really what I had in mind. And I said, is there some other thing? He goes, yeah, I was thinking more like Eaton's, for people that don't know, Eaton's was like the iconic department store. There was the Hudson's Bay Company, and there was Eaton's.
But we didn't have the Hudson's Bay Company in Halifax at that time.
Yeah,
we had Eaton's and we had Sears
So,
or Simpson's.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's like, the family back like in the time when Selfridges and stuff like that were like, it was an old traditional department store.
Named after the family.
Family and carried like, fine fragrances and things like that. So I was working on the fine fragrance counter, and so Chanel No. 5. And then he said, no. So that's not what I had in mind. And I said, oh, well, there was this. And I showed him, like, what. And he said, no. He said, you're not getting it. He said, I like something. Don't you have something like strawberry or something?
Strawberry?
Gross. Yeah. I have Oscar de la Renta. I have Joy by Pat. Yeah. I have Chanel. No, I don't have anything by Strawberry. I said, well, strawberry.
And then just plain strawberry? Yeah. How unsophisticated.
And I, of course, I was thinking strawberry shortcake. Like, how old is this? How old is this woman?
Or like, I would think of like, what the kids like loves Baby Soft, or like just strawberry. What's that?
What's that? And then I was like, he could tell that the gears were obviously turning very slowly in my head, because I was going like this. And then he said, like something that you could rub on and lick off if you wanted to. And I went, I said, sorry, sir, we do not sell those kind of products here at Eaton's. And I turned on my tail and my heel, and I walked away, and he was like, come on. Don't try to play so innocent. I was 16. I was innocent.
Clearly not the parent of a teenager.
No. Anyway, I came home and told my parents, and my mother said,
you had to confess it.
Yeah, and my mother said, that's right. You just turned on your heel and left him there. So then...
Wrong store.
Yeah.
All right.
So then, fast forward another couple of years ahead, I was getting a little bit more crusty.
You were more seasoned.
I was more seasoned and more crusty. I've had a few Christmases under my belt. Yeah. And I was still in the fragrance department, but in the way that the store was set up, each counter had their people that worked on it. And I had to cover over in the men's fragrance department while somebody was at lunch or whatever. And literally there were people stacked up behind the counter. I don't know. There must have been 25 people around the counter, and it's the old glass showcases and stuff.
And everything's locked.
Everything's locked, covered, and you had to show it and stuff like that. So I'm waiting on a customer, and I can hear like this behind me. Credit card on the glass. Tap, 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 tap,
Which
tap.
always helps you get the best service.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm still smiling at my customer, and I can hear it. So I turn around with my best retail smile, thinking of something. Yeah. I'll be right with you, sir. It's a sir. It's a young guy. He's got like really well dressed, and he's like looking sporty.
That's tapping the credit card?
Yes, that's tapping the credit card.
Okay.
He's with his wife, who looked lovely as well, and they have a baby in a stroller. It was
the whole family.
Yeah, it was the whole family, and he's tapped. And so then I said, I'll be right with you. I'm just finishing up with this customer. And I turned around. Tap, tap. I'm in a hurry. I turn around again. I'm sorry, sir. But everybody here that's been here since before you were here is waiting to be served as well. I will be right with you. And then the next thing, I don't know what I saw out of the corner of my eye or whatever, but does anybody remember Paco Rabanne?
Of course.
Fragrances, the most popular men's cologne at the time. Anyway.
Besides Drakkar Noir.
Yeah. Drakkar, yeah, they were about the same time. Anyway, out of the corner of my eye, I saw him pick up stick deodorant from Paco Rabanne. And I don't know why I ducked. It was instinct, I guess. But he threw the Paco Rabanne stick deodorant at me.
Right.
And it practically whistled past my head, and I ducked, and it landed on the floor in front of the counter, like where I was. And the woman I was waiting on was like, my goodness. So I turned around, and I said, oh, never mind. Yes, sir, I'll be with I turned around. Nice going. You're a real class act. You are. And he went off in a huff with his little kid and his wife and everything. And I was like, Merry Christmas!
It's the most wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I was like, wow.
So stay charming.
True story.
Try to stay charming.
Yeah.
Honestly, the things that retail, like, it's not funny.
No.
I mean, honestly, like, they're there working. They're really, most of them are doing the best they can.
Yeah.
And think of yourself if you were there all day putting up with that.
Yeah.
How
Right.
humorless you would be by the end of it.
Right.
So, you know, I don't.
God, wouldn't it be funny if he was actually, his wife watched us?
She probably wouldn't remember because he probably did that sort of thing all the time.
Oh.
You know, like, who knows?
What a jerk.
Anyway, this is why we always say, like, we thought we would move here and just get regular jobs, but, you know, then you get treated like somebody who has a regular job. Like, people are really rude to people working in those jobs, and you shouldn't be.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I can tell you, if you have been there for an 8-hour shift and tolerated some of the things that retail employees tolerate, you'd be amazed they show up at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let alone be nice to you at 5 after 5.
Yeah. And like for the buckets of money that they're making.
Yeah, like, don't kid yourself. You're actually not more patient.
Yeah.
Chances are. Anyway, poor things. And I mean, I've gotten frustrated in stores myself too, but try to stay charming. Okay.
Yes.
So that's funny. And definitely share your retail tales.
Yeah, there's got to be some good ones.
We want to hear it. The Burger King ones were classic.
Yeah. Are you going to tell yours?
Funny. No, I won't. I didn't get abused.
Oh.
So I don't, I mean, like, I just kind of have that look where it's like, not
today.
Probably not going to go
with
over with this one.
Yeah.
I never tried to be that patient. I don't think. I mean, I was still successful. Like, it's not like I got fired or anything, but I was like, no. I'm not gonna kiss your butt. Yeah. Like, I'll definitely do a good job, and I was a good salesperson. But I would have thrown the deodorant back. Like, that's how that's how that would have gone down. Yeah. You know, like
you wouldn't have wished him. But Ken has got the best ever, because Ken worked for many years in the hotel industry and banquets and stuff. And one of the guys at one time, I think when he was working in Montreal, had the best saying, like, when people, because people are also very abusive to some like waiters and stuff like that.
Industry, like, for sure, yeah.
And he was often in, you know, pretty mucky muck crowds and stuff like that. And then, you know, he was the lowly banquet server or whatever. And this guy,
according to them,
according to them.
Yeah.
And this guy, when he had a customer that was like that, always said, "Oh, well, thank you very much, and may you have the day you deserve." It's true. And he said they'd get halfway out the door before they realized what he said.
But then that's in their control.
Yeah.
Whatever they deserve, that's what you're wishing them. So you gotta look
they
yourself
would say,
in the mirror.
They would say, because he would always say it like that, and thank you very much, and may you have the day you deserve. And then they'd walk away, and then they'd go,
wait a minute, what kind of day do I deserve?
Yeah.
According to you. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We muttered that under our breath a few times too.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Be kind.
Yeah, and we make the yarn from scratch, so we're making it as fast as we can. But I think everybody who watches us knows that. But it's just funny. Where is it? Like, we just got your order. We're packing it. We're making it and packing it ourselves.
Yeah.
There's not like a bunch of Santa's elves running around in there helping us do it faster. Unfortunately, we wish we could have.
Yeah. Luckily, that one was actually ready. So
yeah, off it went.
Yeah.
God, I don't want to keep your grandkids from their socks. Oh my gosh. Anyway, and I'll just ingest. It's fine. We don't mind you following up on your order, but it was just kind of funny. Like, Saturday, jeez, I'm just still trying to pack from last Saturday, for heaven's sake. Okay. So we had some Ask Us Anything questions.
Yeah.
Okay. 5 Doodles wants to know if we'll ever start a Yarn of the Month club. Well, at the rate this is going, someday that may be all we have.
Yeah.
Because we've literally calling farmers, asking them to shear their sheep, trying to get together enough yarn to stock up our shop and all the things we offer now.
Yeah.
So we love the idea. We don't have time to organize it.
Yeah, and you know what? I know that subscriptions are. I've subscribed to Fiber of the Month clubs or whatever, and I'm not really it's not that I had a bad experience with it or anything, but I don't know.
I think too, shipping out one skein of something, we're garment people at our hearts. Yeah. So it's not something that we would necessarily do. Yeah. If you're spinning, I can see a Fiber of the Month club might be kind of fun and interesting. You get to try different fibers and stuff like that. And some people love it. Some people love it. But the majority of our sales probably don't go to one skeiners. Yeah. They go to sweaters and things like that.
Yeah. But, so I don't know. I'm kind of... there's nothing wrong with it.
Probably nothing that is shipped out automatically like that, but we might do monthly collections or something like that where you can choose how many you get. But something where there's a repeated charge and you subscribe and then you have to unsubscribe and all that. All of those things take a tremendous amount of organization. Kudos to people who make that work.
We can't even get our Christmas tree.
We can barely get, we tried to offer Christmas yarn and we're up to here. Yeah. So with things taking too long and everyone's tree is empty.
Yeah. So that's not really an answer, but that's I don't know.
Yeah, we never say never, but it's not.
It seems like more another logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
Kind of. Then and I know of some people that have been able to do a really good job of the subscriptions and stuff like that. But I think it seems to me, my impression is that it works better on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of organization. It sounds simple, but knowing what we know now about organizing and shipping out.
And a lot of them do fail. They come and go. Fairly frequently. If you're in the industry, you notice that, what happened to that? And this yarn box or that yarn box, and then you never hear from them again.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the one that I subscribed to was the Fiberista one, and that if anybody,
Google it.
Yeah, if anybody was, and I didn't have any complaints because I actually got everything that I was supposed to get and everything, and I thought to myself, wow, when that starts to go sideways. That's not, that's really, I think if I remember correctly, that was more like a bad management thing, but it's just.
And our yarn is so precious. We would hate to do up 200 of something and ship it out and then half the people don't love it and then won't use it. We want the people to get what they want exactly because we can only make so much of it. Yeah. So if we did a color that, was only good for people who can wear orange and the rest of it went in a bin somewhere, that would break our hearts. There's so much labor in it. Yeah. So it's just.
And then they in that case, that subscription, and like I said, I never had bad service. I got everything I was supposed to get, but you picked your color category, and then so I picked my favorite colors, but honestly, after I think I belonged to it for a year and a half or 2 years, after getting once a month, reds and purples, then I was willing, I wanted to change color. Yeah. So, and there's 100 different ways to do it, but I don't know. Anyway, we'll see.
We'll probably do features, or we did two features now, and maybe we would do those in a more organized fashion, but we're just not that organized. We can barely manage what we're doing now.
Trying to manage people's money, already paid and stuff like that, and
you would have to have functionality to have people unsubscribe and revoke that monthly charge and all that stuff. Yeah. So there's quite a lot to it. Yeah. But thank you, 5 Doodles, for submitting the question because we love answering these questions. Yeah. And then Carol, with a bunch of numbers after, asked what gave us the courage for the lifestyle change. So Carol's only up to episode 10 so far.
Oh, okay.
But
you'll find out.
And said maybe we've covered it, but I guess we've covered it. Yeah. We cover it almost every episode. Yeah. Everybody knows we left our big city jobs to do this. Yeah. What gave us the courage? I don't know that we had the courage. I don't think we knew how difficult it would be. Yeah. If we had known... Yeah. We wouldn't do it again. I couldn't go back to my office for a week and then be like, let's do that all over again. No.
I don't know. You would?
Oh my goodness. It's an incredible amount of work and learning. Yeah. Oh, no, I couldn't. I'm tired. Ask me after Christmas holiday.
Yeah.
We have 4 days off.
I don't know.
Right?
And the courage, I'll tell you what gave me the courage to do it is because I was having a conversation with you and you said, what is the worst that could happen? If it doesn't work, we just move back in with mom and dad.
So I'm in it. Clearly an idiot.
The sentence after that, we didn't consult with mom and dad with that we would show up there, the four of us at the time.
Well, we weren't going to die. Like,
yeah,
it wasn't
that's
going
what
to
you
be
said.
fatal.
That's what you said. That was the next sentence. And what is the worst could happen? It's not like we're going to die. And that's what's true. It's not like we're going to die.
Yeah. And we like the journey we're on.
Yeah.
But it is an incredible amount of work. Yeah. Like, I mean, the learning curve, like it overwhelms me now because I don't know how I jammed all that in here, but I think we have told this story before. And if you're watching from episode 10, you've heard it by now and you're caught up here, Carol, to where we're now answering your question. Yeah. Welcome to the future.
Yeah.
But like we literally didn't even know if a chicken would lay eggs if you didn't have a rooster.
Yeah.
Like this was a question that I asked my father and he lauged so hard he almost dropped the phone.
Yeah.
And yes, they will.
Yeah.
If you're wondering. Those eggs come out whether you want them to or not. Just like how they do with women.
Yeah.
Right? The rooster doesn't need to like press the button and have one come out. Oh my gosh. Anyway, like we had no idea.
No.
And then the stuff that's in here.
But
now,
I think that's true of a lot of things. If you get into something and if you actually knew all of
but you have a boss, right? You're like, Colin, how does this work? You know, like it's just, or you can get support or the company will pay. Do you have capacity for this? Well, nobody cares on this farm whether I have capacity to do it or not, or the bandwidth to do something or not.
Yeah. Well, you clearly were in your career started your career, obviously in a different generation that nobody cared about if I had capacity or not. Yeah, that's not how it worked where I worked.
Yeah, well, they tried not to have everybody have a nervous breakdown and have to leave when I came along. Yeah.
So,
I mean, we were kind of at our wits' end in the corporate world too. Yeah. And I think, the motivation to set your own price, as it were, like people, if you're in middle management somewhere, someone's telling you what you're worth. They're telling you how much you can earn. Yeah. Sometimes there's performance bonuses and stuff. Yeah. We both had them. That's lovely. But it's still like only up to here, right? Yeah. And if you're thinking to yourself, I could do this better, or I know I could make something more of myself, or some of my skills are underutilized, or I have this passion to go out and dye yarn, which I didn't even know I had. Yeah. Because we weren't going to be dyeing yarn. We were just going to be feeding sheep and going to work at Tim Hortons or whatever our original plan was, or sell cakes on the side of the road, or we didn't know. Yeah. We had no idea it would turn into this. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of all consuming. Like I am definitely working way more hours, or I was for the first few years anyway, for sure, than I did in my job in Toronto. I wasn't spending as much time commuting. Yeah. But now, if I had only known I could knit during that time, I probably would have been fine with that. But yeah, I mean, if I think we just had this desire to kind of prove what we could do, and we were being somewhat limited by the structure we were in. Yeah. Yeah. Like, we didn't, in our career, nobody around us thought we had the potential that we did. Yeah. And so you have to go out and make it you have to go make your own opportunity then. Mm-hmm. Like, if you get tired of begging for, like, I don't want to get political or anything, but there was a saying, unbeknownst to most of the men in the HR department and where at the company I worked at, where it was like, men on stage, women in the audience. Oh, yeah. So the men were the leaders. They were the VPs. Yeah. But yet, like 98% of the audience at these HR conferences were women. Mm-hmm. So where did all the women go when promotion time came? Yeah. Because they weren't getting up on stage. Yeah. So you're kind of like, well, I guess I'll just go make my own stage then. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's better now. No, yeah, well, maybe starting, but probably still not even. Yeah. And the funny thing is that HR, where I was, I'll only speak for myself, is well known to have been a female dominated field. Yeah. Yet all of the senior leaders, or most of them in HR, are men. Yeah, and in your company they were too. Try working in the cosmetic industry, right? Even more blatant. Yeah. So, but your HR leader at L'Oreal was a man. Yeah, but they did have women as well. Most of my layers of leadership. Well, we had some. Yeah. But not as many as we had men. But yet in the audience, they were all women. So where did all these women go when the promotions came up? Like, to another company sideways, I guess. Yeah. And I think that if you put in perspective, now we're really off the topic, but when you put into perspective my career, so when I worked for a big multinational cosmetics company,
And I remember when the first female general manager of a brand was named, and it was a big deal that she was the first one. So I mean, I'm older, but I'm not that old. Like, we're not talking ancient history.
Yeah.
And then the company that I worked for, you really wore it like a badge of honor that they were promoting women and so forth, and they did. But it's you know,
it was still a thing. It wasn't like assumed that you were equal.
Yes.
Equally considered.
Now it's more, I would say they've probably reached, because I still follow everybody like on LinkedIn and stuff like that. I still have a lot of friends in the industry. And I would say now it's more kind of like, okay, they've probably arrived.
Right. And I'm sure my company has too, but that's not how it was when we were there.
Yeah. And we've been out of that world for 8 years.
Yeah. So it's been almost a decade since inevitably things have changed.
Yes.
But I think it was just, and it's not off topic, it's not about knitting, but she asked about a lifestyle change, and I think that we had a desire to prove that we could do more than what other people were telling us we were capable of.
Yeah.
And that can happen even if things are equal in the organization. Maybe it's equal, but you're not the one being considered or whatever. And if you think you have more to give and more to achieve, then go out and find, set your own stage, just like I said.
And, or you reach a point where, I don't know how to really say it, but when you see that there's solutions to things that aren't being considered for whatever reason that you know for sure would work, and you don't get to try them.
Yeah.
That was kind of
quite a lot of frustration.
Yeah, more of that. Like this.
Yeah.
Like, why are we still talking about this? This is
And I mean, I was telling this to someone the other day. It's like, well, sometimes we find this challenging and difficult, and we're accountable for everything. There's no one else to blame but one of us.
Yeah.
And we bear the costs of all of our mistakes and errors personally. There's nowhere to hide it. There's nowhere to get more money. If we lost it, we lost it. And there's no one to blame or point the finger at. But by the same token, I was explaining it to someone the other day. I said, still stressful. But when Kim and I disagree, we can disagree, but nobody gets fired. Yeah. Like, we're allowed to say whatever we want to each other.
Yeah.
Like, not in a rude sense, but like a lot of times in those large hierarchical organizations, if you say anything, you feel like your job's on the line.
Yeah.
And I've had, I worked in law firms for a long time, and I've had several law partners look at me and said, do you realize whose signature goes on your paycheck every week, sweetheart?
Yeah.
So who's going to argue with that?
Yeah.
So it was just kind of, and I'm sure we were at the end of it, and I'm sure it's better now. I don't kid myself that it's fixed. But if you're kind of like a little bit plucky and you hear that often enough and you think, listen, I've already said I'd throw the deodorant back, so I'd probably be like, listen, mister.
Yeah. So my situation ended up being a bit differently because once we decided we were going to do this, then I wasn't afraid anymore to say whatever was on my mind, because what was the worst thing that could happen? Yeah. And I'd been there for a long time.
Right.
And I was a woman, and it was my age that I was. Right. If things didn't work out and they decided that I wasn't part of the team anymore,
you were going to be fine.
I was going to be compensated probably to do. So then that was, and I knew I was leaving. Yeah. So the last 18 months, I would say, I was like in meetings. I was like, it was like a freedom.
Right.
And it was so funny because one of the VPs came to me and said, wow, you've really like, it's really great. Like in meetings, you're really mixing it up and everything. So I was actually being rewarded. I should have been doing that all along. Yeah,
although we're not recommending that. No. Depending on your environment, you might not get it. It might not work out that way.
Yeah. But I mean... And no one was more surprised than me. So you basically got
more aggressive, and they liked that.
Well, I would put my foot down, and I wasn't just going to take...
You started setting boundaries, and that paid off. But
then they liked it. But that might not be the case everywhere.
Yeah.
Like that's...
So we were just kind of at the tail end of all that nonsense. This is a really long answer now, but Carol, I hope you found it interesting. We definitely haven't covered this part of it before. But I mean, you know, to go from the fancy office at the top of, you know, an office building on Bay Street and stuff in Toronto to literally, you know, having your hands in sheep poop up to here. Mm-hmm. Some people would probably prefer just to have to bite their tongue occasionally. Yeah. And take home their nice paycheck and have, you know, 3-4 weeks of paid vacation every year. But not us, apparently. Yeah. We'd much rather work 365 days a year feeding sheep or whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, there's
pros and cons of both.
Yeah. But you can't get fired.
No.
To make a long story short.
You could lose your shirt.
So but there's that. You could go bankrupt, but you won't get fired. And you don't have to bite your tongue and, like, when you know somebody is wrong and they're acting like they're way smarter than you because maybe they went to law school or whatever their sense of entitlement is or, you know, arrogance around any of that, you know, we don't have to put up with that.
Yeah, that's right.
So
sometimes it happens in the store, though.
Really? It's your store. Kick them out.
No. I've had not mean, not in a mean way. But I've had people talk to me, like I might be in there with like, you know, just coming from the barn or whatever, like doing something or whatever. And I've had people talk to me in a way that I was like kind of laughing to myself, thinking that they think you're
just like the retail sales.
Yeah, the worker that. You know, I don't know. I don't want to. I don't have time to explain it properly. But just they thought that they were better than you for sure.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
and they're on your property.
Well, yeah, but they just you know that you're just back to that thing, and then I laugh like after they leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hilarious. I have to say, it probably doesn't happen too often because we have the best customers.
Yeah, I just knit and don't worry.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of a...
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
Oh, well, anyways, it's all good.
I mean, we come from a family where our grandfather in particular was very like, you know, like, I don't know how to describe Granddad. Like,
are you going to say humble?
Well, no, not really humble, but just he got a big kick out of it, looking like he would wear, like, I mean, he had gout when he's passed away now, but he had gout, but he wasn't going to throw out a good pair of shoes just because he couldn't fit his foot in it. He'd cut a hole out of the bottom. Yeah. And I was telling somebody this the other day. He was a general manager of a company and whatever, but on the weekends... He was, and I remember he wanted to buy my grandmother a new mink coat for Christmas, which is, you know, not politically correct anymore. But anyway, he thought it was just hilarious to shove the old mink coat into a knapsack, jump on his, you know, lowest level of Kawasaki motorcycle with his buffalo plaid jacket on and his shoes with the big hole in the side and go right down to the furrier and pull the mink coat out.
And they'd be like, how do you intend to pay for this, sir?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
He says, don't worry about how I intend to pay for it. Can you replace the coat or not?
Yeah.
And then he would laugh and laugh and laugh and think that was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'm a little bit like that.
Yeah. Don't make assumptions. Stay charming.
Yeah.
Don't make assumptions.
Yeah.
About, you know, how intelligent or people are and stuff. So it's always a good lesson. I mean, I think humility is
I don't know if I was going to say intelligent because some of the things that happened to me, like not even being able to get an advent calendar right, is maybe
we're just scattered now.
Yeah.
And we're older. So all right, well, I think we've really launched into a whole huge big thing. But I mean, I think a lot of people are curious about how does one do this or how do we feel or whatever, and we were just
you're better not to know.
We were a little indignant. I'd say. Okay, so now we're gonna wrap this up. So if you like the video, please give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Our last one did really well, so thank you to everybody who subscribed and hit the bell and commented and shared or whatever. We really appreciate your support. We do want our audience to grow, of course, because that helps our business grow. And YouTube is a nasty mistress. If you don't play nicely with her, she will cut you down.
Can't figure her out.
So
are we going to name this what we're going to talk about next?
Oh, yeah, so it's called the harmony part.
Yeah.
Thank you to the person, I should have your name, but I don't, who submitted that in the comments, and I'll never find the comment again now.
Yeah.
But this is the harmony part of the Fleece and Harmony part podcast.
Yeah.
So we're over to our little harmony part.
Yeah.
And thank you.
The tranquil.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
And you need to watch this.
Okay, yeah, there's a little hidden...
Okay, wait. There's a little hidden gem in there. And if you see it, put in the comments that you've seen it, but don't say what it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like a game. I don't think I can see it.
It's like a Where's Waldo.
I'm not sure I've seen it.
Really?
Is it really quick?
Well, it's not easy to see.
Okay.
In the middle of the screen.
Wow. Okay, good
Where's
luck
Waldo?
with that, everyone. Okay, so here's... We'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
With some kind of video. We're not sure. It comes out on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So we're not sure what might come out 2 weeks from now, but we'll work up something for you who will be expecting something.
Yeah.
And, thank you so much for joining us. Mm-hmm. And here we go with the harmony part.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you.